Is this the best looking car charger on the market? This is the new Simpson & Partners EV charging point, and it's absolutely stunning. Now, as a company, we've been searching for a new high-end charging point to recommend to our customers, and I think this is it. So today we're going to be installing this Simpson & Partners charger in the place car chargers come to die. And for those of you who follow the channel regularly, you'll know that this is the 10th electric vehicle charging point I'm installing on the wall of my house. More shrapnel in it than a World War II tank.
And here's a look at some of the tools we're going to need to do the job. Nipex ergo strip, screwdriver, hole saw, hex key, electrician's hammer, Hilti impact driver, Hilti STS, and a Gengar plush toy, cheese and onion crisps, naked noodle, and a bit of champagne. Oh yeah, and a couple of other tools. And by the way, you can buy all these tools by clicking on the link below this video. Well, maybe apart from the last few.
First off, I removed the Hypervolt from the wall. I absolutely love this charger. I've had it on the wall for quite a few months, but it was time for a change. Top tip, don't forget to keep the old screws with the old charging point. So I can see this is fully lit up, and I should have safely isolated it before I took the cover off, so I'm going to do that now. So that circuit is controlled by this RCD, which I'm going to turn off now. So I prove that my tester works, and I test to make sure the charger's dead, and then I prove that my tester still works. So while I'm messing around with this, John will talk you through what he's going to do.
So I'm going to be cracking on installing this SPD, removing this cable and replacing this isolation switch.
So I'm just about to get the charger off the wall. We're actually rewiring this circuit completely because at the moment we've got 2 cables coming to it. We're going to change that to 1 neat cable. So 3 years ago when I fitted my first EV charger on this wall, EV Ultra wasn't really a thing, or I didn't know about it. So that's why I installed armoured cable for the power and then slung in a Cat 5 cable for the CT for the Hypervolt when that first went on the wall. So I'm just removing the old clips, but I better get my precious olive tree out the way before my wife kills me. So these are the Linian clips which we installed about 2 years ago. We've actually gone over to using D-line clips more than the Linian clips now. We just find them a little bit easier to work with. I'm not really that happy with the way it's rusted so much, so definitely good that we're using the D-lines now. So the question is, does every EV charger install need a surge protection device? Well, it's a tricky one to answer. For us, we install SPDs as standard on every install, but you can get out of it if you want to write a long-winded risk assessment. So in answer, just chuck an SPD in.
So they're the outgoing tails going through to the consumer unit, and then we'll bring a couple of new tails down and round and into the bottom, and then an earth cable off the SPD into the earth bar.
So this is the EV Ultra cable from Doncaster Cables, but this is a very special version of it. Let me strip it down and show you what's inside. This cable's even more special because it's got our own Artisan branding on it. We made this cable at the Doncaster Cables factory when we went up there and visited about a year ago. If you'd like to see that video, there's a card up in the corner. We've got the power, line, neutral and CPC, and then we've got this, which is a Cat 5e, which will serve as our signal cable for our current transformers.
I don't know why Jordan's getting so excited about a bit of cable. Speaking of cables, I'm going to be installing these flexi tails into the surge protection device.
So as you can see, John loves the Nipex ergo strip too. In fact, this will be our tool of the day. There's a link in the description. I've literally never fitted one of these before. I must say, I do like the packaging. Now, in the important bits package is what you might expect, the CT clamp or current transformer. That is what we're going to connect to the data part of our cable. This is the main event, so let's see how we get cable into this thing. I'm using this lovely cardboard template, and I've got my level on top to make sure it's nice and straight and lines up with the bricks. Hit a like if you think my wall's going to fall down soon.
So I've got these cables in now, just need to get them all torqued up. So it comes into the bottom here, through the main switch, and carries on into the house, but it also diverts them into the surge protection device. And if there's an over voltage, it will safely take it down to earth and dissipate the voltage. With a multi-core cable like this, I always find it's, after I've torqued it down, to just give it a little play because the cable's not settled yet. Now I've torqued that up but if you go back on it, you can get a little bit more.
I just discovered, I thought I'll just check in the box because there's no fixing screws. I'm like, where are the fixing screws and where's the little Allen key to take the cover off of? Well, I've just discovered under this flap, there's another little packet of stuff. Ah, right, okay, so this is the energy manager. I believe what this acts as is like a wireless CT, and it basically means that you don't need to hardwire your CT, you can actually plug it into this. That's a cool device. I've never seen any other brands apart from My Energy do a wireless CT yet, so that's a little thumbs up from me, and there is a separate instruction guide for that. So they don't give you an Allen key with it. Now, I'm not really against that because only electricians should be installing these, and if you're an electrician you don't have a 2.5mm Allen key somewhere, then you're probably not an electrician worth your salt. It just sort of slides off, I think. Yeah, there we go. I was just slagging off electricians who don't have one of these, but you don't just need one of these, you need one of these as well. I think they call it a Torx bit. This is like almost like a star bit, TX10.
Please note, Jordan is using my Allen key.
That will not fit in there because they've made the gap too narrow, so you need like an extension bit to actually fit it in. I would say that is a design flaw because a lot of people are going to struggle to get a TX10 that will fit in there. That is ridiculous. This won't even fit in there because they've chamfered it in like that, so this won't actually fit all the way down. That is about as narrow as you'll get with an extension bit, and you still can't fit it in all the way. I don't know how they suggest that you do it, and why do they not just provide you with an Allen key or a Torx key? I have no idea, but that is slightly frustrating. So I've had to resign myself to using this small flat screwdriver and becoming a complete cowboy. I must admit, I do find it slightly irritating when manufacturers use so many different sizes of screws. Oh, for goodness sake. There we go, so finally we've got the lid off. This bit holder won't fit in there, so I can't actually use my impact driver to screw it back. You know, little things like this when designing a product make a big difference for installers, and if installers love your product, they will sell it to customers for you. So I've got it all fixed to the wall, nice and level, but I made one fatal mistake. So I'm fitting a 25mm compression gland and I'm drilling a 25mm hole in the case to make the cable fit nice and snug. One thing I like about this is that they've angled the compression gland slightly backwards so that you get a nice smooth bend with the cable into the back of the charger.
Okay, so that's all finished there, so I'm going to flick that back on. I heard some things coming on inside.
So one thing I like about this charger is that they're giving you a decent amount of space to do a nice neat swoop of the wires into the power terminals. One thing I didn't like is the fact that there's not a lot of space to run the CT cables in, but I managed to squeeze it in between the two circuit boards through the back and up into the corner. This charger can be 3-phase or single phase. Obviously we're on a single phase supply here. It slightly annoyed my OCD that there was a gap between phase 1 and neutral. I would have preferred if phase 1 was next to the neutral so that all three wires together, but that's only a minor thing. Now this was something that really annoyed me. You need a screwdriver so small that you've got to use it with a microscope to see what you're doing. Those terminals were tiny and I just didn't have a screwdriver small enough to fit properly. So now I've got the cable through the wall, I'm going to fix it up with some D-line clips. These D-line clips are super neat, they just fold over and become almost invisible, and they're made of non-ferrous metal so they won't rust.
Now the washing machine's out of the way, I've decided to give Jordan a hand as he takes forever. It's now 4:30. I'm just going to pass this cable through to Ruben.
It's alright, I've got barrier cream on, so hands are protected. Go long, Ruben. Okay mate, I'll do. I'm only laughing because I want to cry.
You've got to love a pair of Ray-Bans for safety glasses. Not sure if they comply, but I am working at home. Time to put it all back together. Hopefully it's a bit easier than it was to take it apart. Okay, so I've been quite picky with this one, but I've got to say it looks absolutely beautiful. And in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't difficult to install at all. looks wise, that's got to be up there with my favourites, definitely. What do you think, John?
Yeah, it's lovely. Did it get different trim for the top of it?
Yeah, so you've got different wood or metal trims on the top, different coloured metal finishes on the body too, so you've got all sorts of different combinations. I think there's over 50 different combinations, and I think it lights up around here, but we'll see when we get it powered on. This is the Wireless Energy Manager. It's a clever little device that allows you to install a CT clamp connected to your main grid tail and not have to hardwire it to the charger. It also allows you to integrate solar into the mix so that you can charge your car on pure green energy. It's very easy to install and pair. It took me about 10 minutes. This was my fatal mistake. I forgot to install the waterproof washers that come with the charging point, so I had to remove all the screws and reinstall them again. So that's the wireless CT setup all done with the antenna wire running along the main tail here. Pretty much ready to liven it up. Very easy to pair up, and it's all done via Bluetooth directly with the charger, which means you don't need Wi-Fi. You don't need to piggyback off somebody else's thing. You don't even need an account in the app to be able to connect to it. Now, in order to connect it to the Wi-Fi, I need to use this card, which the customer needs to keep safe. On the back of this is a secret code. It's the security pin for the customer in order for them to access and change settings like connecting it to the Wi-Fi, etc. So, in summary, what do I think about this S&P charger? Well, it's beautiful, it's easy to install, and it has all the features that we would ever ask of a charging point. So it's a big thumbs up from me. But the ultimate question is, will I keep this on my wall? Well, I'll let you know in a few months' time. Click the link in the description below to find out more about Simpson and Partners. Click the link up here to watch the 9 other car charger installs that I've done at this house.